Yeah, it seems like the right wing and the left wing movement, the social media, along with mainstream media, are creating a hostile racial environment, and this is by design. Um, Black people on the left, I'm going to say, before this incident, were pretty quiet. Um, Even stated recently that they were staying out of the protest. I did a video on that one. If you guys check out my video, I did an upload called "Sit Your Black Ass Down." That was me showcasing a lot of Black people who were on the left saying that they're staying out of the protest. We even had white liberals questioning Black people, why are y'all staying home? And we're like, nope, we're not getting out there. We're not playing your game. Now, I'm a right winger. I'm a conservative, three-time Trump voter. Worked on the campaign trail. So you're hearing this from an authentic source when I say that Black people, for the most, and I was praising Black people as a Trump supporter, as a MAGA Republican. I was praising Black people for waking up and not letting these liberals use them. Did 2 videos about that and even an upload. Seems like we were reaching some common ground, right? Then the Austin Metcalf murder gets reported. Right-wing mainstream media jumped all over it. I think it started with Megyn Kelly, and then from Megyn Kelly, you got a lot of people that jump on YouTube for clicks, likes, and views and want to be the first to report on a trendy topic. Megyn Kelly, being that she has a big platform, you had so many people that was ready to go turn on their cameras and turn on their microphones, get in front of their audience and talk about this, and then start using Black culture. So I'm going to ask you this. If I have a bad encounter with a police officer, and then all of a sudden I'm throwing my finger up at the police saying, fuck the police, what would you tell me? It's not all police. You had dealt with a bad apple. If I was to tell you that I had an encounter with a racist, what would you tell me? Not all white people are racist. You just dealt with an asshole. All right. But if I was to tell you that I had a bad encounter with a Black person, then what would the story be? Well, you know, they don't have fathers in their household. Young Black males are violent. Look at Chicago. Look at Baltimore. They throw the whole race under the bus. Then they'll say, well, you know, it's the culture. 13% of the people commit 55% of the nation's crimes. You know that same old bullshit spill. What up? What's going on, Rocky? What's up, Austin? How's everybody doing today? Yeah, they always throw out the blanket statements about Black people. They throw the blanket statements out about Black people, right? So when I was looking at Twitter over the weekend, I saw Matt Walsh making blanket statements about young Black men, saying that, oh my gosh, you know, these young Black men are violent. What kind of narrative do you think that's painting out there? And racists are now more than ever bold enough to spew their rhetoric. I mean, you got Matt Walsh saying this, you got Megyn Kelly, you got all of these people, these influential people in the right-wing media making these negative blanket statements. When the left-wing media gets a hold of this, they're going to find a way to blame it all on Trump. Yeah. They're going to find a way to blame it on Trump. Why? Because it's a group of people who fly under the conservative banner who are spewing all of this racist nonsense that we're hearing. They'll tell you they're conservative. I've had people tell me, Ricky, you're not a conservative. How dare you? Why? Because I say that young man deserves a fair trial. I'm not a conservative. That makes me more conservative, makes me more patriotic than you. Why? Because I believe in the justice system. I believe that if that young man doesn't get a lawyer, a reputable lawyer, then he's not going to get a fair trial. I mean, it is what it is. I had those same sentiments about Kyle Rittenhouse, who was crucified by the media before he even stepped in the courtroom. I have the same sentiment about the young man who's caught up in this mess. Right? Carmelo is caught up in this mess. He's crucified by the media. Where Kyle Rittenhouse was crucified by the left-wing media, we got Carmelo Anthony, who's being crucified by the right-wing media. He hasn't even had his day in court. But we're hearing all of this racist-ass rhetoric floating all over social media. And I'm no longer a conservative because I'm saying that the child deserves a trial. I'm not towing the party lines. Is that what it is? Well, I'm not, because this isn't political. If we're going to make it political, then we're going to have to make it to the point where everybody gets fair treatment in this justice system. You know? Yeah, Trump should stay out of this. Well, the motive is to spark a race war to blame it all on Trump, if you ask me. See, the Metcalf situation, like I say, is not at all political. But they made it through the outlets that it was reported. You see what I'm saying? They made all this political through the media outlets they reported, because conservative nor liberal media no longer reports on political issues, but they do report on social divisiveness. Right? You know, they tried to say, well, if it was the other way around, then cities would be burning down. What's going on, Jimmy Wynn? How you doing? But okay, now I'm going to meet you with that same energy. We had a neo-Nazi to shoot up the Tops Foods up in Buffalo, New York. There were no cities burnt down. We had another neo-Nazi to shoot up a Dollar General full of black people at Jacksonville, Florida. There were no cities burnt down. We had a young man to lose his life, a military man at that, to lose his life due to a police officer banging on the door, didn't announce who he was, so that man exercised this Second Amendment, came to the door with a gun. The cops shot him without any warning. No cities were burnt down. So what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? This was a week before the Frisco, Texas murder. Let's see. Cameron Cuba, literally a white dude, stabbed a girl, by the way. This was, yeah, they're not reporting on that. You're not going to hear Megyn Kelly talk about that. You're not going to hear Brandon Tatum talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, V-Dub Boogie, you live right down there by, what's his name? You live down there by Black Alpha. Black Alpha was live on the scene shortly after that happened. But yeah, conservative media nor liberal media, they don't report news anymore. They report these, whatchamacallits, these idiotic ideologies that drives us apart as the American people. They're not patriotic. These people are here to make money. You feel me? These liberal and conservative outlets, their goal is to their advertisers. So as long as they can keep you engaged, and what keeps people engaged? People fighting with each other. And I honestly don't think that the right-wing media is doing Trump any favors as the people that say that they stand with Trump are launching these smear campaigns. You feel me? Because, I mean, wasn't it not too long ago we were celebrating getting these illegal immigrants the hell out of here? Everybody was on the same page. Everybody was, doing all right. Now they have to make it black and white again. It is what it is. Hey, Jason, let me tell you the joke. Bam! You're out of here. My MAGA hat's over here. I say this is more of a Gen Z entitlement problem other than race. My generation feels so entitled that they willingly murder someone for their fragile ego. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of that happen. You know what I'm saying? And I can't say that violence is regulated to a race, because any other time you try to have these people have a conversation with these people, they overtalk you, and then they want to throw these statistics in, and they don't, or they'll say that you're the racist. You're race baiting. So isn't that what these people are doing? Is this not race baiting? This is race baiting at its finest. Because smear campaigns like this against Black America is how we're going to get another Charlottesville in the next 5 years. Yeah. Smear campaigns like this about Black America is how we're going to get more mass shootings on Black people. It's coming down the pipe. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when. What's up, Tom? How's it going? You lost respect for Candace Owens. You should have never had any respect for her. We're going to see more hate crimes appear in the mainstream media. And I would like to know how much money did the social media platforms have made over this last weekend over this whole Metcalf case. How much did the social media platforms make? How many influencers got paid to talk about it? And how much did the social media platforms earn in revenue to keep people engaged, to hear these toxic statements about Black America? See, I can sit here and say some bullshit about white America, but I won't, because I'm not that shallow-minded. Even though I had a neo-Nazi to call into this broadcast and threaten my life. Yeah. But I'm not sitting here saying all white people are racist. You know what I'm saying? And I know that some of you are going to be like, Ricky, I thought you were a conservative. I'm a conservative. I am. I lean right, but I don't toe the party lines. When something is wrong, even on my side of the aisle, I call the bullshit out. I call the bullshit out. I call out the double standards when it comes to the Carmelo Anthony case, especially. The troglodytes on my side of the aisle are upset that there's a GoFundMe for Carmelo Anthony. They're upset about it, right? I'm not upset about it because the man deserves a fair trial. Those same troglodytes can get upset with me about Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe when they tell me how upset they were about how much money was raised for Michael Draker when he shot a Black man over a parking space in front of his family. Those troglodytes can get upset about Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe when they can get upset that Dylann Roof raised close to $1 million for shooting up a church full of Black people. Yeah, they can get upset about Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe when they can get upset about how much money George Zimmerman raised to kill a 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. Right? They can get upset about Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe when they're upset with how much the McMichaels raised to defend themselves after hunting down and killing Ahmaud Arbery. Yeah. And not only did they raise this money for their defense of these people, but they tried to rationalize with them on why they did it. They tried to rationalize on why the McMichaels hunted down and killed a man. They tried to justify it. And when Black people were upset about it and the public outcry, they were met with bullshit rhetoric from the right. Yeah, I'm calling out the right, even though I'm on the right. I'm calling you motherfuckers out. You can use Candace Owens to call out Black people. I'm a right winger that can be used to call out the bullshit on the right. Let's do this. You tried to rationalize and fill people's heads up with bullshit, gaslighting people, playing in their faces, talking about, well, it is fucked up what happened with the McMichaels, but, the Black kids are killing each other in Chicago. It is fucked up, but, maybe he was over there stealing. What was he doing in that neighborhood? Doesn't matter what the fuck he was doing in that neighborhood. It was not a private area. He had the right to be there just like everybody else. If he was up to no good, you didn't see him commit any crimes. He didn't have any stolen property on him. I mean, shit. Why are we asking all these bullshit questions and not seeking out why are people upset about it? Yeah, he didn't steal anything. Dude was jogging, and then you had Candace Owens' old slack ass, get ET looking ass, talking about, well, nobody jogs in khakis. You don't know what the fuck people jog in. Hell, motherfuckers jogging down blue jeans if they ain't got no khakis or no workout gear. So it no longer matters what stand your ground laws are for self-defense, black people. Right. Like with the whole deal with Michael Draker. When he shot that man in front of his wife and his child. Well, he should have kept his hands to himself. That was what y'all motherfuckers were saying. He should have kept his hands to himself. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's what a lot of you motherfuckers were saying. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I want to know one white man that will let a black man yell in his wife's face or let any man yell in his wife's face in front of his child and it don't turn violent. So you mean to tell me that you don't see me as a fucking human? You don't see me as human enough to say, to defend my family? Because see, here's the thing. No matter what race you are, you have a right as a man to defend your family. Any man of any race that doesn't defend his family is a dereliction of his duty, and he is a pussy. Yeah, that Savannah woman who got punched her box rocked in New York, her husband is a pussy. He sat back and watched his wife take a two-piece. I don't give a damn if he had to step in with against another female. You're a pussy. You can't even call yourself a conservative, man. You sat back and let your wife, who was rage baiting, you should have been her security. You should have been more of a security guard than money could ever buy because that's your wife. And you sat back and let somebody throw a two-piece on her. I ought to put that camera down. Fuck with my wife, all bets are off. I don't care what's between your legs. It wouldn't surprise me if I hear that same antagonist, that professional conservative antagonist, was to get a divorce because of her man being a pussy. Right? But when we're talking about this shit, we were trying to talk about this shit in the past when black people were getting upset about these GoFundMes that was coming up for these different people and these high-profile crimes that was racially charged or had racial tension to them. We had to hear the bullshit. Well, if he just wasn't in that neighborhood. Well, if he just wasn't there, maybe he was still. We don't have all the facts. And it didn't help that you had people on the left pulling these false flags of racism as well. I'm going to call them out too. Because y'all motherfuckers on the left pull so many motherfucking false flags that when people start going through shit, nobody's going to take them serious. Real talk. Real talk. Anytime some bullshit ever happened in these high-profile crime cases, what do? They'll get in front. They'll be playing in your face. Yo, that was fucked up what happened to Trayvon Martin. That was fucked up what happened to Terry McLaughlin. That was fucked up what happened to these people in Tops Foods. That was fucked up what happened in Jacksonville to the people at the dollar store. And here comes the fucking gaslighting from the right. Well, black people are 13% of the nation, and they make up 55% of the violent crimes. Black people vote Democrat. What the fuck does that have to do with the topic at hand? And it's always the same cookie-cut argument. This is why I don't have no conversations with motherfuckers like that, because you can't reason with them. What's up, Big Logic? Oh, I like stand your ground laws, man. I love those. It was always those same cookie cutter arguments, no matter if it was Trayvon Martin, no matter if it was the people who lost their lives in that church under Dylann Roof, no matter if it was the fucking people who lost their lives at that grocery store in New York or the Dollar General in Jacksonville, Florida. It was always the same cookie cutting gaslight arguments. Black people are 13% of the population and make up 55% of the nation's violent crimes. Were those people committing crimes? No, they were shopping. They were at church. They were at church. Not only was the people at church when Dylann Roof came through, right? They actually stopped and prayed with that boy. They prayed with him. And he slaughtered them. And then you had some motherfuckers coming up. Well, I don't want to hear about racism. I don't want to hear about racism. Well, I don't want to hear about it then. Well, you got these lefties out here doing the bullshit that they're doing, and I don't agree with it, but I don't want to hear you complain about it. When these lefties are out here doing the dumb shit they're doing and being racist towards white people, I don't want to hear about it. Because you damn sure don't want to hear about it when some real shit's going on. And this is why I say this country's doomed to fail. People are not going to change. We're not going to fucking unite. Black people were minding their own fucking business throughout all this. They came out in record numbers and voted for Trump. Check. Can't blame the way we vote. They came out in record numbers and said that they're not standing behind those white liberals on April 5th. Check. We're not standing behind the white liberals. Then one young man get into an altercation with another young man and handled it violently. Right? Now all of a sudden, fuck black people? Really? And now we're hearing all these smear campaigns all across social media. And nobody on the right side of the aisle is speaking up on us. Nobody on the right side of the aisle is speaking out against that toxic and racist rhetoric. Everybody got to toe the party lines. See, I'm not going to sit back and toe the party lines when I see something that's fucked up. I'm damn near to the point to tell black people, listen, man, fuck the Republicans, fuck the Democrats. You don't have any friends. You're on your own. Because nobody on the right is speaking up against this shit. The white liberal only speak up against it when they're trying to get you to vote for them. But hell, it's not an election season. So they don't give a fuck to talk about this shit. They're too busy talking about trans rights and complaining about whatever they could pull out of their fucking hat. But if we were close to election season, boy, you know they'd be making video after video trying to get black people on their side. Get some of that grifting money. Getting those podcasts. Get you to fall in love with them. And on the right, what we hearing? Motherfuckers sitting around talking about, well, you know, they make up 13% of the population and they commit 55% of the nation's crimes. Listen, and I'll be bold to say this. I would be bold to say this. When you're voting, don't vote on social issues. Neither side gives a fuck about those. Vote on your personal issues. Me, I'm an entrepreneur, so therefore I'm voting for the party that's going to give me the best stance on entrepreneurship. Who's going to give me the most tax breaks? Who's not going to fuck with my infringe upon my rights to defend myself? Because right now the Republicans are starting to sound like the fucking Democrats when it comes to the standing your ground. Because they're like, no, it's not self-defense. But it was self-defense when the 17-year-old kid went up against a grown man. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. George Zimmerman was just defending himself. Shut the fuck up. Okay, if George Zimmerman was defending himself, then Kamala Anthony was defending himself. Kamala Anthony is 17 years old. Come on now. Right. How can 13% of a population commit 55% of the nation's violent crimes? That means that me, you, and every other black person across social media at your job site are threats. What's going on? Yeah, John Henry Clark did say we ain't got no friends. And what's his name said that too. Yeah, we ain't got no motherfucking friends, man. Let's be real. When it comes down to social issues, we ain't got no motherfucking friends. People were, it was a conversation I was having with a preacher on Saturday. I got a preacher that's part of my motorcycle club, right? And he was telling me about DEI and how they're taking out certain books or black books out of the schools, right? And I told him in return, I said, well, they could do that. Let them. It's up to us to teach our children our history. We should never let white people tell our kids anything about ourselves. That's been our motherfucking mistake. Why are we wanting white people to tell our story? And why the fuck do we want white people to tell our story to their children? They got their own stories to tell to their children. Why the fuck are we worried about if white people are telling our story or not? Am I being real or am I not? Why the fuck are we worried that if white people wanted to acknowledge us? We need to hold those same values amongst our own. And you're going to hear this from me, a constitutional conservative, a man who voted for Trump 3 times. This is what you're hearing from me. We need to find value in each other before we try to go get that white man's value, because hell, we've been begging that white man to value us for so goddamn long. And you see how that's working out. What, do you want him to put a fucking price tag on you? We saw what happened the last time he put a price tag on you. So yeah, if they take out the books from the library, fuck it. We buy those books. We teach our kids those books. We build our own fucking libraries. Who gives a fuck if they acknowledge us? You know what I'm saying? But what scares me about this whole situation is the fact that we're now facing some financially unstable times in America. I want to see how many historians do I have in this room. Because right now we're facing a perfect storm, black folks. History repeats itself. My fellow melanated people, history repeats itself. With these tariffs, which I agree with the tariffs, don't get me wrong, because I believe we should be bringing back our industry to America. I mean, you know, on that note, Trump got these motherfuckers to come to the table to try to negotiate on these tariffs. But we're facing some rocky times in America, right? Financial struggling in America is about to go across the board. What's up, Jay, the informant media? We're about to face financial struggles in America across the board. People have been feeling the impact of that for the last 4 years. All right. Now they're making it where you can open carry. They want a federal open carry ban. Now, a lot of my fellow 2A people out there are saying that this is a good thing. I am scared. I am shaking in my motherfucking boots on that one, especially with this racially hostile environment. Because what happened the last time when everybody was packing guns and fucking, we were facing financial struggles. Red Summer of 1919, people. And when you see all of these people in the right-wing media talking that racist-ass rhetoric, how many motherfuckers do you think are going to step in and say, hey, stop, that's wrong, when they see that black man getting lynched, or those black people being shot up, or those black people being wrongfully convicted, or those black people having these damn problems of all this shit that was going on? How many white people do you think are really going to step up to defend you? Because they damn sure ain't saying anything right now. Hell, they fucking platformed Candace Owens. Candace Owens even turned around and said, yeah, they platformed me to talk shit about black people. Whoa. Whoa. She said that. I didn't. Candace said that. So this is why I say, black people, I said this many times. Y'all called me a sellout. Y'all called me a Uncle Tom for saying what I'm about to say now. You gotten too damn comfortable in your state of integration. You gotten too comfortable in your state of integration. That's how you feel like you got the luxury to get on social media and talk shit about each other. That's how you feel like you got the luxury to go out picking fights with one another, killing each other, harming each other. This shit didn't really start until I want to say the early 80s. Up until the 1990s, man, black folks, we had each other's back. What the fuck happened? We had each other's backs. I didn't even have to know you. But if I saw you was getting jumped on by a group of fucking white supremacists, not only am I coming, I'm dropping the quarter in that motherfucking payphone. Yo, meet me over here. That person's going to call somebody. That person's going to call somebody. That person's going to call somebody. And guess what? We're turning the motherfucker out. What happened to that energy? What happened to that energy? What up, Aubrey? What happened to the energy that we used to have when it came to that kind of thing? Now this dumb motherfucker talk about no dance is what happened. No, because a lot of people that I grew up with didn't have fathers, and we still had that energy. And then on top of that, you got to think, in my generation, a lot of kids didn't have fathers because they didn't come home from the war. What up, Glock boy? How's it going? What happened was we got too comfortable in our state of integration. That's one thing we could take fault for. That's one thing we could take fault for. We got too goddamn comfortable in our state of integration, and we were out there trying to mimic the white man's wealth. You know what I'm saying? We got too goddamn comfortable in our state of integration, and we started trying to imitate the white man. And that was done by social engineering. Look at the bullshit they were feeding us on television. What's up, Vegas Barracuda? What's going on, mister? Diego says, your take on Elon Musk Nazi salute, and be real. I did a video about that. I wasn't offended by that shit because it wasn't a Nazi salute, but if you want to, you can go back and watch that video. I don't chew my tobacco twice. Took me 10 hours to make that fucking video. Go ahead and check it out. It'll only take you 10 minutes to watch it. But yeah. But we're coming up on a time where people are going to be financially struggling. We're coming up on a time in America where people are actually going to be able to carry their firearms. They're doing all this shit by design. They're doing all this shit by design. And by the end of this 4 years of bloodshed that we're about to come up on, it's going to be some bloodshed out there, people. I'm telling you, it's going to be some bloodshed. They're going to blame it on Trump when it was actually the media that represents Trump. See, Trump needs to come out and damn. But see, even if Trump was to speak out about it, they'll bleep him out. Fox News fucked him over once, they'll fuck him over again. But this is a recipe for disaster. Those neo-Nazi groups that Joe Biden allowed to wreak havoc under his watch are salivating over this. And do you think that anyone over at the Daily Wire or Megyn Kelly would have sympathy when innocent people are dying out there over the shit that they're starting? These race soldiers just don't go after the thugs and the gangbangers that they talk about because they see each and every one of us as thugs and gangbangers. This is true. If they didn't, then they wouldn't lump us all into one category. Do you think Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, or any of these motherfuckers going to get up on be like, well, that was wrong what these white supremacists did to those black people? No, they're not. They're fueled by their fucking rhetoric. And these damn hate groups, they prey on people while they're in church. You think that Brandon Tatum or the rest of that black grifting ilk will talk about their rhetoric that set the tone for a hostile racial environment? No. And the left, they'll just blame it on the rhetoric that comes from the left if they say anything. The right will blame it on the rhetoric that comes from the left. And make it political. Right? See, that's why y'all need to vote Republican, because see, the left is putting all this out here. But how would you get black people to come to our side of the aisle? Now, I'm a conservative. Everybody knows this. Anybody who has any doubts, just roll back through my videos. Just roll back to the places that I've been. Been to just about every Trump rally that's ever been on the East Coast, right? Been to a couple of TPUSA events in the crowd. But how are you going to get black people to come to our side of the aisle when it's our media that represents our side of the aisle, that pushes that toxic rhetoric? I'm out here having to do damage control. I'm out here having to do damage control. And I did not want to believe Professor Griff when I talked to him. I talked to Professor Griff about a month ago. Professor Griff, been a fan of his since I was a kid. But Professor Griff was like, hold on, my brother. What do you mean you're a Republican? You know, I got all the geeking out of the way. Oh, my God, Professor Griff's on the phone. Professor Griff. Oh, my God, Professor Griff. What do you mean, my brother, you're a conservative? Those are just two sides of the same coin, my brother. And I didn't want to believe that. I didn't. But the only thing I can say is racial tensions keep on heating up. I'm going to tell my fellow melanated people this. Keep your power tools ready and keep your head on a swivel. If you're confronted by someone that you know you can overtake physically, they're coming up trying to start shit with you, telling you some dumb shit like turn your music down, barking orders at you, walk away. Walk away, because 9 times out of 10, they're feeling empowered to do something bad to you. And I'd rather you be watching my show telling me about your ego got cracked than someone to tell me that you're not going to be coming to my broadcast again because you're no longer with us. Yeah, it's going to hurt walking away from conflict. It's going to hurt walking away from conflict. Yeah, that's the hardest thing to do. I know you got some strength on you. I know you're good with them hands. You don't have to throw them hands just because someone challenges you. That's what they're banking on. They want you to throw hands so they could pull out one of them pistols and shoot you and make it a racial issues for the right wing to defend and the left wing to condemn, and social media companies to make money. They get donations in their defense. It's not worth all that. There's not your soul is priceless. Your soul is priceless. Just walk away. Yep. Then they paint you as a bully. What's up, Alina Prim? How you doing? So if you're confronted by someone and they got that bullshit going on, walk away. Now, I'm not saying that all white people are racist. I'm not. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't take that as my message. But what I am saying is that the media is pushing a racially hostile environment, and they do exist. Yeah. Don't fall for the bullshit. And this was my main concern with a lot of black Democrats. This is one thing that I couldn't stand about y'all motherfuckers. Couldn't stand you motherfuckers for this reason. Once again, you got too comfortable in your state of integration. You were out here voting against your Second Amendment rights and pissing on your First Amendment rights. You were saying that you're the most unprotected and disrespected, but you were voting the people who's supposed to protect you and give you the most respect out of your homes. The Democrats already showed you what they're going to do for you during the 4 years of Biden if some shit ever hit the fan. After that neo-Nazi shot up Tops Food up in New York, Biden only showed up to give those black people his ass to kiss. He didn't go after the fucking neo-Nazi movement like he went after the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and the Three Percenters who were not racist. Deportation of Caucasians 2025. See, I don't do racism in my room. I don't care which side it comes from. That ain't my message. That's not my message. Get your head right and come back here. That's not my message. Half of my family are white, so that's not my fucking message. You know, it is what it is. You don't have the luxury anymore to be sitting on social media and trash talking each other anymore. I just want you to, for those of you who follow me on TikTok, I left these hateful comments up in my comment sections for a reason. Why? Because you need to be organizing and mobilizing. Because if you just scroll through Twitter and just look at some of my TikTok posts in the comment section, you'll see how real and how radical the language has gotten in just this past week. And just this past week. And this is coming from the same group of people who says that the best way to end racism is to stop talking about it. This is from the same group of people that says that they're not racist, but platforms grift us to spew racist rhetoric. Did we forget that Candace Owens let that cat out of the bag when she was fired from the Daily Wire? Now Candace is telling everything. When they're like, well, wait a minute, Candace, you know, everybody's upset about you talking about the Jewish community. What about when you had so much smoke for the black people? And guess what? Candace was like, yeah, that was encouraged. They paid me for that. Whoa. Prayer warriors, racism was dead until people kept fanning the flames. And that came from the left and the right. That came from the left and the right. Ain't no way I'd have voted for Kamala. But why else do you think they keep showing you this picture? Nope, that came from the left and the right. That came from both sides. But yeah, why else do you guys think they keep showing those pictures of that young boy telling you he was an honor student and he had a future ahead of him, and along came this thug and he stabbed him? Listen, we don't have all the facts. Prayer Warrior says Democrats are the party of slavery. There was no great switch. Get off the plantation. You must be new here. You definitely must be new. You definitely must be new. All right, let me show you the plantation that I'm on then. Let me show you my plantation. You ready? Hold on. I'm on a plantation. I'm on a plantation. Really? I'm on a plantation? There you go. Now you get off the plantation, because what is voting Republican doing for you? Since you want to come here with that rhetoric, I can guarantee you make less than 50 grand a year. You're poor white trash. What is voting Republican doing for you? No, tell me, what is it doing for you now? Donald Trump works for me more than he does you. That's why I voted for him 3 times. Now what you got to say, stupid motherfucker? Another thing, prayer warriors, that you can do is get Kyle Rittenhouse. Come back when you grow up, bitch. I love when they look at my skin tone and make that assumption. Get off the plantation. The Democrats are the party of slavery. Both parties are the party of slavery, if you want to go by that logic. Simply why? Because the Democratic Party was not a part of the Union, and the Union had slavery in its ranks. If anything, the Democratic Party, if they were Southerners, then they were the true patriots at that time, because they were well within their constitutional rights to break away from the United States of America when they were being overtaxed without representation. The first shot that was fired of the Civil War was fired in Fort Sumter, South Carolina, on a tax vessel. Had nothing to do with slavery. The Civil War was not a humanitarian effort. Abraham Lincoln was not only a fucking racist, but he was a fucking tyrant. He went against freedom of speech. He shut down newspapers. He fucking did all this cancel culture up north. He had fucking segregated troops under him that were paid less. So those damn lame, tired ass arguments over the Republicans are the party of freedom and Democrats are the party of slavery, bullshit. Miss me with it. What's up, Kevin Willis? How you doing? So he's straight up upset. If he could win the war without ending slavery, he would have. Yeah, and this is the same one who said that he wanted to have a superiority over the white race over black people. So don't come in here with that bullshit. Keep that shit over there at PragerU. PragerU. Keep that bullshit at PragerU. That misinformation. Got these niggas out here joining the Republican Party, spewing that same bullshit rhetoric. So it was the Democrats that was the party of slavery. If any motherfucking thing that you should be trying to sell black people when you're trying to sell them, the Republican Party is what the Democrats are doing for them nowadays, which is hurting them. Not what the Republicans or the Democrats are doing. You know, you got to sell them on something. You got to give them tangibles. Start with this history, because if you don't want us to bring up history, then you don't bring up history. Because if we were to talk about the Civil War, that opens up a whole nother can of worms that y'all are not ready to talk about. That'll open up a whole different can of worms. So don't try to sell me with bullshit propaganda. Tammy, what's going on? You sound like a ball of hate. Do I? Sounds to me like you just got kicked out of here. I'm not a racist, but can I get an N-word pass? I tell you what, go to Harlem and say that. You can get an N-word pass, but you got to turn your camera on and you got to go into Harlem and walk up to the first black person and scream that in their face. You don't have to buy it from me. I can get it to you for free, but you got to turn your camera on and you got to go into Harlem, right? And you got to live stream it. I want to see what happens. And don't be armed. Don't do it from behind a firearm. Everybody brave enough to say that word while they're holding a firearm. Oh, don't do that. Nah, I want him to go back home to his family. I want him to go home to his family. Don't do that. Listen, don't take me up on that challenge, man. YouTube unsubscribe you. Hey, well, welcome back, man. Yeah, I ain't trying to do that to you. You might be able to live to get out of your racist ways, man. You know, you might reform yourself. I ain't trying. No, I ain't. Listen, dude. Don't do that. Then next thing you know, you might try to come back and sue me. Well, Ricky Manor told me to do it. You know, nobody takes accountability. Hell, if Mickey D's can get sued for a woman spilling hot coffee on herself, I ain't trying to have you sue me. Well, Ricky Manor told me to go to Harlem and scream nigga. Hey, that's why I say Kyle Rittenhouse is awesome. This is why I say Kyle Rittenhouse is awesome. Because, yeah, those black people gave a white guy the N-word pass, a nigga pass, and let's see what happened. And what did Kyle Rittenhouse do? But yeah, they're actually pushing this bullshit rhetoric for a reason, man. They keep showing people the picture of that boy's mother crying. You know, the father already said, please don't make this racial. Please don't make this political. And what did the mainstream media done? They went out and made it racial and they made it political. Then they keep showing us the mother crying. Pulling on your heartstrings. Try to win. What they're trying to do is merge the conservative right with the alt-right. There's a big difference. The conservative right is not racist. The alt-right is extremely racist. They're trying to merge those two. I don't know if they'll be successful or not. Right? But don't, like I say, I'm not going to answer any more stupid questions after today about this case. Who brings a knife to a track meet? Tell me what young kid don't bring, or what young kid don't have a pocket knife. Here in South Carolina, all of these motherfuckers down here carry pocket knives. It's not for protection, they're tools. Right? I mean, come on, somebody tell me. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong here. We're in the South. You can tell these are some fucking Yankees asking that question. Who carries a pocket knife to a track meet? Who doesn't carry a pocket knife? He had a knife on school ground. Okay. When I was in school, not only did we have knives on school grounds, we had shotguns in our racks in the back of our pickup trucks because we are a hunting state. We carry tools, screwdrivers, shit like that. Down south, I mean, it's normal for somebody to have a pocket knife on them. Hell, it's a fashion. Oh, you live in New York? Yeah. Woo. You have to have them up there. Yeah, we do that down in the South. We carry all kinds of shit on us. Now, if you want to talk about weaponry, before I was old enough to carry a gun, I carried bug spray and a lighter. I'm a black redneck. If you know, you know. I carried a can of bug spray and a lighter all the time in my car. A cigarette lighter with a can of bug spray. I carried a baseball bat. But I also had a ball and glove in the truck with me as well. So they can't say I'm carrying a weapon. Cop asked me, what you doing with that baseball bat on my way back from the batting cage? Oh, okay. What else did I have in my truck? I had a hammer and a jar of tar. And nails. I mean, shit. You'd be surprised. Look, your car keys are some of the best weapons you'll ever have. When I was teaching my old lady how to defend herself, showed her how to use them car keys. You could fuck somebody up with a pair of car keys. Even though I got a key fob on one of my cars, I still carry all of my keys on me. Those keys can be deadly. What else do I carry? Well, when I'm going to the gym, I carry the lock for my locker between my fists and keep it in my pocket. Somebody run up on me. Can you imagine my big ass hitting somebody with a fucking lock pitched in my hand? So who brings a pocket knife to a track meet? It was probably more kids there with pocket knives than they had damn running shoes. We're in the South. I mean, damn. The way I look at it, you know, Carmelo, you can feel how you want to feel. He's in the court of public opinion now. The kid deserves a fair trial. If he's guilty, throw the fucking book at him. If he's innocent, let it go. If he's claiming self-defense, okay, cool. Then let him at least get a fair trial. We know no fucking public defender's gonna do the job that needs to be done. I felt the same. My sentiments were the same for Kyle Rittenhouse. I sent Kyle Rittenhouse money as well. Because the thing was, Kyle Rittenhouse done what he had to do. And I got tired of people calling him a racist white supremacist when he didn't kill not one black person. I mean, damn. The kid deserves a fair trial. Now, I know a lot of you are in your feelings about it, as you should be. We lost the life of another young child. But as the situation as it stands, we can't bring that child back. And I'm sure that, you know, Carmelo is sitting behind bars right now wishing that this whole thing never had happened or wondering if he could have done something different, right? But at least he deserves a fair trial. Kyle Rittenhouse deserved a fair trial, and I made sure that I done my part to make sure he got a fair trial. No, Quantum, they're wanting to start a racial war. Let me tell you why they want to do this. You ready? Take this down, write this down, because you're going to be able to reference this later. The left, the one side of the political aisle, they want power. They can't have it. So, damn, what are we going to run with? Well, damn, we tried to say that Donald Trump is a racist, but damn, we've proven time and time again that he's not a racist, that he got the black vote. The black Democrats are saying we're not marching with these white liberals as they stated that they weren't going to do. What else do we? What other strings can we pull? Then they pulled out the big guns. They pulled out the right-wing media to push this racial narrative. Now they got two sides fighting, start a hostile racial environment, and then it's going to lead to hate crimes being taken place. It's going to lead to media-related crimes taking place, right? What's up, So Real TV? And then after that, here comes the Republicans again trying to run in 2028. And what is that going to do? Well, damn, we had 4 years of this bullshit under Trump. We need to change the regime. We'll forget all about the negligence of the Democratic Party. And then they'll put the regime in that's going to open back the borders, that's going to take the guns from us because we've been committed so much fucking violence with our guns during that time that they can feel free to impede on the Second Amendment. And next thing you know, that's how they will bring on Marxism. They'll do this by the means of giving the American people enough rope to hang themselves. Y'all know I'm telling the truth here, right? Y'all know I'm telling the truth. So that's how, and then the right-wing media, they don't work for Donald Trump. They act like they favor Donald Trump. They don't work for him. Hell, Candace Owens, I was telling y'all for years, Candace Owens is a deep state plant. She's a left-wing plant. Damn, So Real TV, I have to subscribe to you. Holy shit. I had to subscribe to you, So Real TV. But yeah, that's what they're doing. They're trying to change the regime. And if you got people out here claiming to be patriots, but they're still spewing that rhetoric that comes from the right, then that's going to tarnish our name. But yeah, Candace Owens, I was telling y'all from the get-go that Candace Owens was on the left the whole time. She never changed. Only thing she done was use the MAGA movement to up her platform. That's all she done. Yeah. And now she's back to her original shenanigans that she was on before Donald Trump let her into the MAGA movement. What's the name of the book, Quantum? Is it on Amazon? I'll get it. Yeah, so the end game is they're going to keep that they're going to get that border open again. The end game is to open the border, get our guns from us so we can't fight back. And it's still Marxism. The right-wing media and the left-wing media are part of the same crew. There's if you follow the money, the same people that pay Fox News are the same people that pay CNN and MSNBC. But so many people are believing that the media are their friends, and they're not. They just report to you the news that you can relate to. My best advice to the American people is don't get your news from America. Get it from overseas. Skip the propaganda. Skip the propaganda. I watch Al Jazeera. I watch Sky News in Australia. I watch, Indian News Network. I don't watch any of these American mainstream media news outlets. So yeah, either that or I go to independent media. Channel that I would like to recommend for you guys, man, if you haven't got a chance to watch it yet, is Real American Voice. I was actually on there. You got to go to independent media, because if you don't go to independent media, you go to that corporate sponsored media, you're fucked. And if you really want to know what's going on in politics, don't go to Fox News, don't go to MSNBC, go to C-SPAN, where you're getting it raw, uncut, as it's unfolding, without the commentary. And the reason why I say that is because what you guys dealing with now are these personalities. You know, everybody say that Tucker Carlson was a journalist. He's not a journalist. Tucker Carlson is just like Joy Reid. They're commentators. They're commentators. They're not journalists. You know, my guy Dave Zeri, he's a journalist. This man is a journalist. There are things that we may disagree on, but he's still a journalist. He's not a commentator. Nah, don't come directly to me because I could get it wrong. So yeah, it is what it is, but it's 6:57. Close to 7 o'clock, Torrin Wolfer says, here's a cardinal rule that alleged patriots from either side tend to forget. The American eagle cannot fly with one wing, right? If a U.S. citizen does that, the citizen is a traitor to our country. Right? Listen, if you really want to get what's going on between Palestine and Israel, because I don't cover that conflict, I don't talk about it because I'm not educated on it enough. One, two, I can't speak on it without getting emotional. Then you guys need to go to Rumble and check out a guy by the name of Rod Dawson. I'll type his name in the chat room. On Rumble, go check out a guy by the name of Ryan Dawson. And yeah. Hey, you're welcome. But yeah, I got to go get some dinner in my stomach. And until the next time, my fellow patriots, where we go one, we go all. United we stand, divided we fall. I'm Ricky Manor of the Melanated Rebel News Network signing off. God bless you all. God bless America.